Hello all, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all okay. Going to preview in this episode the upcoming away game at Coventry, Frank Lampard's Coventry. So I've been watching a lot of Coventry, been digging into a lot of the sort of data, and I've analysed it with some notes that I'm going to go through now. So Lampard, his team is set up on an attacking philosophy full of energy, pressing and positional intelligence. Some things that stood out: he likes wide overloads and 3v1 situations. So instead of the traditional English style of central overloads, Coventry consistently build wide triangles to break down defences. It stretches the opponents, therefore, and forces defensive shifts and opens up gaps in the final third. They set up with a relentless high press. So Coventry attack even without the ball. They press aggressively in the opponent's half, regaining possession quickly and turning transitions into chances. And it's dynamic possession play as well. So there's constant triangles all over the pitch, ensuring that there's constant passing options and quick ball circulation. And it's possession with purpose. They're always aiming to move forward. So yeah, I noticed that. Under Lampard, they kind of primarily sort of have been setting up in a 4-3-3, but then in possession that's been changing to a 3-2-4-1 structure, with wing backs pushing high up to provide width while midfielders kind of work in the middle. Lampard's also shown that he's very adept at adapting the tactical approach game by game, suited to the opponent that he's playing. In the majority of the home and away fixtures, as I said, they've played in a 4-3-3. But they've also shown the ability to exploit width and get the fullbacks up to provide opportunity for overlap down the wings. In games where they've been a bit more sort of under the cosh defensively, like when they played at Hillsborough and at Ewood Park, they switched their system to allow for 3 central defenders, showing that in these games they were willing to concede the majority share of possession to the opposition and play more directly on counter-attacks. So that might be something we have to watch out for, because if we're going to try and dominate the game possession-wise like we usually do, they are going to look to be very direct on the counter and hurt us there. As I said, he likes to play attacking, risk-taking football with width in offence and aggression in the press. His teams play with an unmistakable energy and passion, with constant runners on and off the ball looking to cause opponents trouble. This style of play is then very demanding on certain positions, especially sort of centre backs and full backs. So one example I picked out was I was watching Sacramento, and basically he, as a sort of midfielder, was always willing to trap back and help Van Eyck in defence if he was going up and down the wing on the overlaps and stuff. The club ethos of Coventry is very visibly to defend and attack all together as a team. They tend to build up patiently from the back as well, and feel comfortable having their defenders stand on the ball until they have the necessary support. So the defenders will slow the game down. Will wait for the right passing option, and they'll be comfortable in the ball in doing so. I looked at their lineup last week. So on the team sheet, they lined up in a 4-2-3-1. Rushworth was in goal. He had an absolutely brilliant game, made some cracking saves. You then had Van Eyck and De Silva as the fullbacks going up and down the wing. And then you had almost, I'd suggest it was a front 4 rather than a 3-1, which was Sakamoto, Rudoni, Thomas Asante, and then Wright up top. And I mean, you look at the squad and they're a very, very, they've got some very good championship experience and some very capable players. So you've got Jade Da Silva in there as fullback. You've got Jake Bidwell in there. You've got Luke Wolfenden. You've got Van Eyck. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And the other fullback, very handy player. You've got Rodoni. You got Matt Grimes, another very experienced Championship player, along with Luke Wolfenden. And then you've got Sakamoto, very, very good technical player. You've got Jamie Allen, again, bags of experience. Ellis Sims, a very capable striker there, number 9. Very dangerous, very physical, very tall. You've got Haji Wright, again, very dangerous goal scorer, striker, very good player. And you've got Brandon Thomas Asante, who's probably not up to the levels of the previous 2 strikers, but he's still handy enough on his day. And obviously, since we nearly signed him and lost him to Baggies, he's had a bit of a way of haunting us, hasn't he? Yeah, so they're a very, very good outfit, and this is going to be a very, very, very tough game. If you offered me a point now, I'd be absolutely delighted with it, but I do fear a defeat might be incoming against a very, very good Coventry side, very well set up Coventry side with a lot of Championship experience and a lot of good Championship level players. And I've no doubt this Coventry side will be there or thereabouts to the playoffs come the end of the season. But yeah, I think a realistic aim, possibly too optimistic, but possibly optimistic, but a realistic aim would be, let's get a point there. And while I'm at it as well, let's just touch briefly on the big news around that, the ticket prices. So Coventry City have charged us £45 a ticket and under 18s at £35 a ticket. I think that is absolutely disgusting when you consider that most Championship away days are something like £28, £30 for an adult, not £35 for a kid and £45 for an adult. I think that's disgusting. I think it needs to be looked at, and I think the EFL needs to introduce a £30 cap on away tickets, because it's not just the ticket prices you're thinking of, it's the travel costs and all that as well. It's disgusting. There needs to be a £30 cap on it. But I'll say no more on the matter. The next video now will be reviewing what happened at Coventry. If you enjoyed the channel, please hit the like button, comment, hit the subscribe button and the notification button, and I'll catch you next time. Keep right on, Blue Noses, up the Blues. Also, just to say, please comment with your thoughts on the channel, what content you'd like to see, and also what your predictions and importantly score predictions are for the Coventry away game. Cheers, keep rolling.